Go ahead.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Not a Trekkie, an all Star Wars Everything podcast brought to you by Red Cyclone Inc. Everything from New Hope to Rogue One, even that solo one, from Anakin and Obi-Wan to Rey left being the only one. Now, I cannot stress this anymore. There is no hate. This ain't Stargate, this ain't Star Trek, this is Star Wars. I'm your host, Tenacious T. My co-host for the Not a Trekkie podcast, the Merc with the Mic.
What is going on, everybody? What is going on?
We have a treat today, man.
Yeah. So we are owing you guys a shoot the shit episode, which we'll probably record sometime this month. But we wanted to get into the next movie because I think this was one that I honestly will say what was the most excited for.
I've been anticipating this movie since we started.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which I forget how long we have been doing this for, but we have been doing it for over about a year.
So
I'd say.
Not a Trekkie is about to be a year. We started it
About to be
I think
a
in
year old.
March. I think we started we started in March. We started I think the first cast we did was around your birthday.
Okay, that sounds good. So on a note to that one right there, we just obviously to our listeners out there, we have gone through the original three trilogies, the first trilogy, the prequels, and the nowadays Skywalker saga. On that note, I would like to give my co-host over here, Mr. Merc with the Mic, a nice toast to you, my sir.
Cheers.
I have a nice bottle from my boy Christopher Tui, because my birthday is in 2 weeks, and he bought me a bottle of Maker's Mark. So I would like to do a cheers to you, my man. Salute.
Cheers, brother. Cheers.
And that is some good shit there.
All right.
Moving on.
So,
like I was saying, I've been anticipating this since we started. Now this came out when? It was before The Last Jedi or after The Last Jedi?
It was before The Last Jedi.
Before The Last Jedi. Okay. So this to me was the second Star Wars movie I got to watch.
Yeah.
In the theaters. You know what I mean? As a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
So I go from The Force Awakens to this fucking masterpiece, man. You know what I mean? Like I was no longer thinking about A Force Awakens when this thing came out.
Yeah. This movie I already it came out the year right before Last Jedi.
Okay.
So 2016, this movie came out. The story, like when I first saw the trailer for this, and I actually realized what the story was, I was actually very excited for it because it felt like there's again, like this was before Mandalorian. This is before anything that they gave us besides the trilogies. So this is the first look outside of the Star Wars trilogies. This was the first movie
cinematic wise, because there has been comics.
Yeah,
and stuff
but
like
I'm talking about movies. I'm talking about directly the movies that we watched. I know they have the Clone Wars cartoon. I know they have all those Star Wars cartoons that kind of like play around with the storyline. But this is the first one to be outside of the trilogies, and I was very happy to see that they were doing it when I first heard about it and what it was. I was like, huh. That actually sounds really interesting because it shows the mission to get the plans for the Death Star.
Which is in the exact beginning of A New Hope.
Mm-hmm.
They get that message. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's literally going straight from the end right into the first trilogy.
Yeah. So this is pretty much like right before New Hope. And the beginning of the movie when you see Leia get the plans, that's how this movie ends.
I mean, Darth Vader is on that ship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so this one I was very excited for because I think when I saw this movie, I was breathtaking. I love this movie. This movie was one of my favorites of the Star Wars movies. I had Empire over it, but as I watched it now, I think it's going to fight Empire because this is the first Star Wars movie that we reviewed, and honestly, 100%, I fully enjoyed the movie.
I
Like every one that we have reviewed, I had something to say about a lot of these movies.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
of course.
So this was the
I
first one that I was just like, I can't wait to watch this one.
I think this is the best movie of my lifetime
Mm-hmm.
of Star Wars. I think that the scenes in this movie were probably some of the greatest in all of the history of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Now, Empire Strikes Back will always be, the one that like brought it further for the Star Wars universe. You know what I mean? So it is stamped in history as that one definitive movie that really explained what Star Wars
But
was.
you wanna know
Now
something?
saying that, now saying that, now saying that, Rogue One is so much better. It is balls to the wall. The writing, the visuals. Now, keep in mind, we are so many years later in the development of cinematic technology to make a movie like this. Would a Rogue One be as good as if it was made back then? I don't know.
I don't know. I think so. With this movie, I feel 100% the writing was fucking amazing. I feel like they didn't leave no point unturned. I think they explained the story as good as they possibly can, without even like trying to confuse you in any such a way. Like they gave you a blunt story of what happened during these plans, and this was one that you knew for a fact. You kind of knew the ending. You kind of knew what was gonna happen. You kind of knew that they were gonna die. You knew that was the end game.
Oh, I did not know that, and when it did happen, it made that movie so much better.
No, because
it's a selfless move.
Yeah. So
the heroes will be, the heroes get remembered, but legends never die. You know what I mean? Like
so. In A New Hope, they explain the last mission of getting those plans, how important those plans were. So they never explained it in like full detail, but you kind of knew that team died. They kind of explained that the team died. So that's the reason why when I saw this movie, I knew it's not gonna have a happy ending. It's not because the way they had to obtain the plans. Other than that, this just I don't know. Like this movie just felt so different in so many good ways that I think this became my number one Star Wars movie. The cast alone, I think this had a fantastic cast. I honestly do not see anyone that could play something else off this cast. Like I really truly enjoyed each character. Like I felt I cared for each character differently, and
I agree. I was like chills, just the acting alone, and the fact that a lot of these characters are in some of my favorite movies ever. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like what's his face? The main dude. What's the guy? Cassian Andor, right?
Yeah.
He was in the movie. Now this movie is like 15 years old, but he's in the movie The Terminal.
Yeah.
With Tom Hanks, and I absolutely love that movie. So the first thing that I noticed with him was that when I first saw the movie. Okay. I was like, yes, boom, I'm in here. I love that fucking movie. I ain't seen him in anything else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Also, what's his face? The pilot. Boda Rook. That's his name.
Yeah.
He was in Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal.
And he was also in Venom.
And he was in Venom. Yes, he was the main antagonist.
Yeah. I was just telling him.
Venom.
Okay, so you know what? There's something that I would like you to. There's two things I would like you to see of his. The Sound of Metal, which I was kind of giving you like a brief. Description. I think you would really like that movie. And then he also did a HBO show called The Night Of, which is a really fucked up show. It's about like he committed a crime and shit like that. He got went to jail like he was like drunk and he didn't understand what was going on and everything like that. And they were prosecuting him with a lot of shit. It's a crazy show. I recommend it. It's only 3 episodes, but those 3 episodes are fucking crazy.
Well, we definitely have similar tastes, and if you vouch for it, I will definitely go and venture.
And he's starting to like really get. He's a big up and comer. Like he's getting a lot of like these important roles. That he's actually showing his acting.
Man, his acting in Nightcrawler alone was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That movie, like I'm not the biggest Jake Gyllenhaal fan in the world.
Yeah.
I like Donnie Darko, which the movie does make no sense, but he did a great job.
Yeah.
There's a handful of other movies like Brothers, you know what I mean? Whatever, a Night Watch or whatever. That
Yeah.
movie with with Mike Pena,
Yeah.
Pena,
Yeah.
right? Like I'm not sold on him as that, but Nightcrawler is a phenomenal movie, and
Yeah.
that was his intern on it, and and then that's what I knew him from instantly. I'm like, yes, I'm sold. He's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, as the movie started progressing, I mean, obviously we have Academy Award winner Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's been in fucking everything. He's been in Species, fucking, you know what I mean? The Last King of Scotland,
Ghost Dog.
Ghost Dog, you know what I mean? But he's in Good Morning Vietnam, you know what I mean? Like, and he was dumb young in that, you know?
Yeah,
so
this
like,
this had a lot of amazing actors in it. Mads Mikkelsen, which he was in Doctor Strange and a couple other movies. He's been like killing it as well. Ben Mendelsohn, he was the main villain in this movie.
he's like, fucking awesome, bro.
He was such a dick. And I loved it.
But he plays the dick in every movie.
Yeah, but he in this movie particularly, he was such a dick. But I actually enjoyed his character.
I got introduced to him through the show Bloodline.
Okay.
With the guy who plays he's in Godzilla. He's in Friday Night Lights, the television show.
I know what you're talking about. I watched Bloodlines.
I got put onto him through that, and he's an amazing actor.
No, he is. He's been.
He was actually best friends with Heath Ledger. They were best friends. They lived together. They rented a house together.
Yeah, and then we also had Alan Tudyk, which he was K2SO, which was probably one of my favorite characters besides this badass Donnie Yen, which is probably one of my favorite martial art flick dudes since Jackie Chan. Like, he fucking every movie he does with martial art wise has always been badass. And crazy thing, he was like a breakdancer before this. Yeah, he did a lot of breakdancing shit. Like, there's like actually videos of him breakdancing. But Donnie Yen, I was always a big fan of, especially a lot of his Hong Kong movies, Flashpoint.
I recognize his face. I just can't pinpoint where I saw him from.
He's
you know what I mean?
He has not really been in a lot of big like American movies. He's Ip Man. If you ever watched that series it's about Bruce Lee's teacher.
I've seen because there's like 3 of them, right?
There's 4.
There's 4 of them. Okay, so I'm definitely behind. Yeah. But I recall him being in that, but there's something else specific that I saw him.
He was in Mulan. If you watched the new Mulan.
Nah, I never even seen the original Mulan.
He was in Triple X Part 2.
That might be it. The one with Ice Cube, right?
Yeah. No, that was Vin Diesel. The last one.
The second one is the Ice Cube one.
So my knowledge of Donnie Yen is from a lot of his Hong Kong movies, like the Iron Monkey is probably one of my favorites. He was in Hero. He was in Fist of Legend. He was in. He had a movie called Killzone. He had a movie called Flashback. I was always big into the martial art flicks. Like, honestly, shout out to our buddy Chris from Works, Chris Santana. He asked for like old school. Yeah, he asked for like a bunch of old school like Hong Kong movies, and I just wrote a big ass list for him because I was like, "Good dude, I'm a big fan of those." When I used to work in Blockbuster, that's all. Anything that's from Dragon Gate. Oh no, was it Dragon Dynasty? Dragon Dynasty was an American company that was bringing out a lot of these Hong Kong movies and putting subtitles on it and shit like that. So they had some amazing catalog of movies. So I gave them a shitload of fucking movies to watch, but a lot of them had to do with Donnie Yen. Donnie Yen is a fucking fantastic martial artist.
I only told them 2 movies. I just said Umbak, there's a Thai Warrior, and Drunken Master. You can't. Yeah. I mean, anything from Shaolin, you'd be really good. And Chris's Santana has a very eclectic taste.
Yeah.
So Shaolin, I felt like he probably already ran through all those.
But his most I think you probably have seen was the Ip Man.
Ip Man.
Yeah.
I've never seen. I think I've seen one maybe in its entirety.
Yeah.
Um, but I've seen bits and pieces of other ones. But I definitely know I've seen him somewhere, and I will flat out say he is my favorite character in the whole movie.
Yeah.
I understand there's a couple of other characters that definitely deserve a nod in my book,
Yeah.
but for me, being the Star Wars fan that I am, and for what he portrays
Yeah.
in this movie, he's fucking awesome, bro.
So one thing I appreciate about his character, like he was kind of still like a Buddhist monk, but instead of being within the Buddha and like that, he
Was with the
believed in the
Force.
Force, and the
And
Force
he
was
had
with
no
him.
force
Yeah.
ability whatsoever.
No, but
You
he
know what I mean?
believed
He
it.
just believed in it.
He believed in the Force, and the Force was with him, and that was like a big sign, the big line that was happening a lot in this movie, and he was blind too. So not only was he believing in the Force and like that, but he was blind. So each scene that he ever had made you believe that he could fucking see because he could get through every fucking thing instead of the last
But
scene that he
you know,
had.
I mean, that gives it to his just senses ability. You know what I mean? But he's thankful for his senses.
Yeah,
So I feel like he believed that that was the Force. Now, to me, the only thing that I wished, because obviously throughout the whole movie it showed that he didn't have the Force with him. He just
Yeah.
believed in it so much that he thought that he was protected by no matter what. I felt like his body should have disappeared at the fucking end, bro.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I felt like he deserved it.
yeah,
As much as I'm very happy with what happened in that scene, you know, because that's probably, to me, besides the final scene with Darth Vader,
yeah,
probably one of that and when the Death Star actually strikes,
yeah.
and that was just a
Yo,
gorgeous
so I
gorgeous scene.
I will say 100%. This movie almost made me cry. Like I actually felt like the feels of a lot of things in this
And
movie.
you are not a sentimental
And this is the
person,
reason why I talk so highly of this movie, because if you get adapted into the story, you know what the story is. Like it's a suicide mission, and that's pretty much what it is. But you still don't think in mind that they're actually going to do a suicide mission and they're all going to die. So going into this, especially with, like the Donnie Yen character when he died, yo, that whole scene was something to be like, damn. And then his friend.
He's like, I don't
Believing
need
in
luck.
it,
Yeah,
too.
throughout the movie, he's like, I don't need luck. I got you, bro. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like they were like inseparable.
I loved
They were one. And I swear to you, I'm getting chills thinking about it right now because I completely agree with you on the feels part. Because when he died, right? And
Yo.
he died in his friend's arms. What did he say to him? He's like, "Don't worry, I'll see you soon." You know what I
Yo.
mean? He's like, "Yo, they're gonna force it. I'll be with you," basically.
Yeah.
And then within fucking 5 minutes, his man's got killed too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But for his friend who didn't believe in all that shit,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And didn't believe in the Force at all. He was yelling at him, "Don't do this, don't do that." That man accomplished more blind
Yeah.
and stating the Force is with me and I am with the Force. Accomplished more shit than a lot of people have in their entire lives, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the whole scene with his friend, and it's just like him walking out and saying it, and just like believing in it because of his boy. But it's cinematic, dramatic masterpiece, bro. It's just so good.
Yeah. I guess what we could do is give you a brief description of what the movie is. So I actually read one that's pretty like very summarized and like that. The daughter of an imperial scientist joins the Rebel Alliance in a risky move to steal the plans of the Death Star, which is pretty much the plot point. She is in the mission to steal the plans. Her father is the one that kind of created the Death Star.
He got forced.
He got forced to
the
create
Death
it,
Star.
but it explains why it has a weak spot.
Which is so good, man.
Because
It's
he
so
created
good.
the weak spot, so it could get destroyed. It cannot, or it can't be invincible.
And in order for him to stay alive, and for them to ultimately, at the end of it, when it's all said and done, you know what I mean? Because at this time, they didn't know that this war is going to keep raging on for another 40-something years.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? They think that killing this Death Star is going to be the one and done.
Yeah.
But that obviously, if you know anything about Star Wars and the history of it, that's far from the truth.
Yeah.
That's far from what happened. But it's genius because he's like, all right, I ensure that I'm still alive. I ensure that my daughter's still alive. And I ensure at the end of this, even though he basically is the guy, the Manhattan Project. Who's the guy that created the nuclear bomb that says, I am now death, destroyer of lands? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought of him. That's how I pictured him as.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As that guy. I forget his name. It's
I don't know
Manhattan
his name.
Project. But you know what I'm talking
I know
about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I am now death, the creator of worlds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least he had a Band-Aid for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
he had a backup plan.
So he did it intentionally to make sure it could get destroyed. And you know what's funny? And going into all the movies and like just really thinking about like the Return of the Jedi when they destroyed the Death Star the second time, or Force Awakens when they started making the plans for the new Death Star and shit. That they never fixed that.
No, it was always that one damn thing. That
like,
screen door.
That
screen door, right?
You think they fix it by then, but they never actually touch it.
I
But
mean,
then again,
and shouts out to Family Guy and Robot Chicken for making fun of that shit so much. Which I would love to dive back down into those another day.
Yeah.
Not necessarily maybe on a cast, but just to watch them again, because the
They're
Robot
fun.
Chickens was fucking phenomenal.
They're fun. You know what makes me happy is the fact that these are things that you haven't experienced. So basically, me giving you these things that makes me happy. The fact that you're enjoying these things, especially
I'm not an animated person.
Yeah,
I don't really care for any of that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, But it was, the family. I thought the Robot Chicken was like award winning. I thought that was just probably one of the best claymation things that I've ever seen in my life. It goes back with fucking Kablam. You know what I mean? From fucking 90s.
Yeah. So yeah, this movie had a lot of that. So basically, her father.
But what's her face? She didn't even like sign up for this shit.
No.
You know what I mean? Not. She got kidnapped.
She was kind of like seeking revenge more than anything, and I felt like that was her little thing, is the fact that she wanted to get close to that dude and kill him. That was her goal. Because even remember when they lined up killing the guy, she wanted to go back and beat his ass.
Yeah, he's like he's dead, you know. She wanted to kick him a couple of times, you know what I mean? Because he killed his mother, her mother,
and father.
Well, ultimately, at the end of it,
and then
you know what I
mean? She saw her father die.
You know what I mean? Like she had all this pent up aggression and hatred towards her father because, she basically just left her to be, basically an orphan.
Yeah. Who
was raised by Forrest Whitaker's character.
Yeah.
Which trained her like. She had a Sarah Connor-esque.
She reminded me of you know what? It reminded me of fucking Guardians of the Galaxy.
The way the movie was filmed, I was thinking, because this is obviously post.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Like the way they showed the planets when you were arriving at them.
Yeah.
That was totally Guardians of the Galaxy, which I'm not even hating on because that is just good cinematography.
But the girl and Forrest Whitaker's character's connection, it reminded me of Wandu and Star-Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of, and that's like it made me laugh. This we're not going like verbatim from scene to scene, but we're just going to really
I prefer
digest into
to we are done with the trilogies.
Yeah.
We did that for 9 movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This one, I just highly recommend, and I even told you while I was watching this, I'm not writing a single fucking note.
Yeah.
I want to bask in the essence of this.
Yeah.
Because now I wish I've watched this more. But it was good because when I watched it today, this is the first time I've watched it since it came out on Blu-ray, and I got it from the Disney Movie Club.
Yeah.
It's the first time after that because I remember me and my brother, who I always go through all the movies with. You know, he's my rider when it comes to that.
Yeah.
We watched it together, and that had to have been 3 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Somewhere around there. So
Yeah.
this was like a first. Obviously, it's not my first viewing, but
Yeah.
because there was so much time lapsed, I forgot so much. But I absorbed it. Like I fully recommend everybody, at least once in your life, see this movie. If you are a sci-fi fan, you don't even have to be a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
If you're a sci-fi drama person, it's awesome. And I never would have suspected that what's her face and him would have like sort of like fell for each other at the end, which was it led up to
a really
great
sad scene. It was a sad scene.
I loved, and I've said this in other casts, is like I just always wondered what the planet looked like from the ground.
Yeah.
When it got destroyed.
And this movie showed you.
Yeah,
100%.
but this movie showed us a lower powered version of it. That thing wasn't even, they wanted them to slowly die.
Yeah.
Not incinerate it immediately, which literally ultimately had just a wall of land tidal waving like water.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what's his face? The main villain dude is just like, oh, that is beautiful. I was like, I felt him.
Yeah.
As messed up as that scene is, like actually what's happening, like from a Death Star perspective, like it looked crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. One thing I'll say is the CGI. What is his name?
We haven't even. It's General Moff.
General Moff Tarkin. Him in general, like that CGI on him. So I know the technology they used. They kind of used it in I think it was Civil War. Marvel, Captain America: Civil War. I think they did it with Tony Stark when he was the young Tony Stark and shit like that, and those videos that he had.
Yeah.
So that was the same. That was the first time they actually used that technology.
That was Civil War, right?
Yeah, in Civil War. So this was the first time doing it and actually bringing back a character that the dude passed away a while ago.
But 30 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
40 years ago
to bring back the character, to still have the feel of that character and how
but to have him in the movie a lot.
And have the CGI look like he was not a CGI character. Like, there's times you could tell when things are CGI. Like, I swear to God, like, I stared at that dude and I was like, yo, there's nothing that could say that this is CGI.
Me and my boy Maddie, when we, because every Star Wars movie and most of the Marvel movies, obviously life gets in the way. Most of the Marvel movies, me and him went to the theaters.
Yeah.
Saw.
Yeah.
When Rogue One came out, we were like, we're fucking going. You know what I mean? Like, he understood the story a little bit more at the time than I did. I understood it was a prequel to New Hope.
Yeah.
But when Tarkin hopped on the fucking screen, me and him just looked at each other like, wow, bro. But it makes all the sense in the world. Why wouldn't Tarkin be in that universe? Why wouldn't he be there? Yeah. You know what I mean? And the fact that we found out that what's-his-face made it, and he was like, okay, now I'm taking it over. It's mine now. You know what I mean? Yeah. I didn't even know the Death Star could fly into hyperspace.
Yeah.
I found that out in this movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you found out in this movie.
Because when did the Death Star ever move, really, in the prequel?
So, to our knowledge, it never moved. It was just there.
Yeah, it blew up. It blew up Leia's planet, her home planet.
But then again, you think about it, and you're like, you know what? It is a spacecraft. It's not a fucking just a planet.
It's not gravity holding it like it's a heavy
thing. Exactly. So if you really think about it, like the Death Star, you'd think it had mobility because it wasn't, again, it wasn't a planet. It was a star. It was like a Star Destroyer in a way. Just an 100%. Oversized Star Destroyer.
And to actually see it being put together.
Yeah.
And we went to the planet that made it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, like, always in my head, obviously I'm a rational thinker. I mean, you can go and check our morphing cast all the time. I rationally think of a lot of shit like that can't happen, this can't happen, this, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
stupid shit like that. But I always wondered how the hell did this space, how this contraption in space come to? It had to have been made somewhere
Yeah.
and then pushed up into space. You know what I mean? And then pieced it together.
Yeah.
That's the only logical way for that thing to happen. And we got that.
Yeah.
We got the cannon part being lowered into it and finally stabilizing and becoming what we know as a Death Star. And they named it in this movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. One of my favorite another character that I highlighted was the droid. He was one of my favorite characters. He was so sarcastic and yo, he made me laugh every scene he was in, and he also showed that he actually cared about the people that he was working with too.
Well, that last scene where he literally fought to the end
Yeah.
to make sure that it was possible for them to keep moving, and he ultimately, ceased.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to enunciate or describe how no longer functioning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he's not obviously a living being.
Yeah.
He does have an AI consciousness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He is a step below R2D2 in my book.
Yeah.
Because R2D2 is the GOAT when it comes to all the droids.
Yeah.
In 9 movies, he was the most essential thing in 9 movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though he wasn't even in a lot of the new movies,
Yeah.
the new trilogy, the new trilogy wouldn't happen without him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but he's right below him because
Yeah.
he was fun, sarcastic.
He chokeslammed the Jay.
I loved it. I loved it when what's her face when she shot the other one.
Yeah.
And then he looks at her like, "Did you know that was me? That wasn't me?" You know what I mean? It's like she just looked at him like, "Yeah, of course." You know what I mean? But oh, so good.
It's K2's Esso. That's the name of the droid. I love that guy. He made me laugh. Yo, the whole thing
He was
when
the comedic relief. He was the only comedic relief.
so one
in
of the
it.
scenes when she was trying to escape. This was like one of the beginning scenes when she was escaping, and he just like fucking chokeslammed her, and it's like, oh
Yeah.
I'm here to protect, and it just made me fucking laugh.
Yo, when he told what's his face when he hit him.
Yeah.
Right? He hit him. He's like, "Shut up! You're going to the prison." And then I got fresh ones for you all day. Now, fresh ones is something that I've been saying for years. You know what I mean? And when he said that, I swear. Now keep in mind, I'm tired. I know people out there in podcast land right now don't understand what I just went through the last couple of days. Neither here or there. I've been up for a couple of days just working, snowstorms, all this crap. And I was sort of fading a little bit in my bed as I'm watching it. But when he bitch smacked him and told him, he's like, "I got fresh ones for you all day." I was like, I'm fucking up, man. Let's go. It gave me my 10th win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was such a good character. And I think that was one of my honestly, so
I sort of mourned a little bit.
No, I was sad when he died. So honestly, like I have 2 pops from this movie. This is the first Star Wars movie I actually bought pops for. Besides Mandalorian.
I have a couple of pops.
Except for Mandalorian, and I think Jackie got me Yoda for like a gift. So
I got a Ghost Yoda.
Yeah, I got the Ghost Yoda from Jackie. Jackie got me the Ghost Yoda.
But mine doesn't glow in the dark like it should.
it got a boo boo.
He's more of a night guy. He doesn't want to glow.
So I got the Donnie Yen character, and I also got the K3.
Yeah.
SP.
Doesn't he have a big one? Does he have like a giant one?
Yeah, he does have a giant one. K2.
I remember seeing that at like GameStop.
Yeah. Yeah. So
now, he like in the world of all seriousness, because honestly, this movie was not intended to be fun at all. You know what I mean? This was intended like, this is the mission. If we don't do it, we're all fucked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which in the world of Star Wars, it is still, the Empire's mission is to restore peace by
Yeah.
inflicting fear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Basically, and we've had this conversation many times, and I feel like we should do maybe a political cast eventually
Yeah.
of like the politics
Yeah.
of Star Wars, which really goes in depth. And I was really looking at it. There's a lot of politics
Yeah. A
that
lot, especially in the prequels, because the prequels
you know what I mean.
is
Like
all.
I feel like we should do a politic one, a cast maybe potentially for the future. But we always say like who is really wrong and who is really bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like what make besides the methods of how the Empire, orchestrate
Yeah.
things. Their mission is to be peaceful at the end.
Yeah.
Where the rebellion's like, basically, you're not going to tell us what to do. We're going to do. So who's wrong and who's right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that
who's the redcoats and who's the fucking patriots?
I think that was the point of what he brought into what Lucas was originally planning, is the fact that, because as you can tell, like the dark side kind of have like a Nazi vibe. And
Yeah.
into like if you go into the history of the Germans and shit like that, and especially World War II, they felt like they were right.
Man, if you were in Germany in 1941 and 1942 and Hitler walked through the streets, people were passing out like Justin Bieber was walking around.
Yeah.
They were passing out like fucking like Michael Jackson was there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's all of the programming, and it's we're fighting for this cause. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So and we always talk about like, what did these guys get paid? Where do they live? This and that. You know what I mean? Like, which would be perfect for a political cast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because these people, like now, these stormtroopers are clones.
Yeah.
These are definitely clones 100%.
Yeah.
Because this is after the prequels,
Yeah.
before the original trilogy.
Yeah.
So they're definitely clones, 100%.
Yeah.
There's no growing people up. They are Jango Fett in those suits.
Okay.
Horrible. Horrible, might I add. And what I was thinking about as well, we're always making fun of these stormtroopers, right?
Yeah.
About how they just fucking suck. They couldn't hit somebody with a ricochet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Was Jango Fett really that good? Like, that's what it was making me think.
I think they just cloned the body. They didn't get the skills.
Didn't get the smarts, but I think it's more of like the training, because obviously, and what we got in I think it was Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
We've already passed Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Where they cloned him, and then in Revenge of the Sith you saw that different clones went to different things.
Yeah.
So I think it was more of a programming fault than it was actually them.
Yeah.
That, and also what's his face in the Mandalorian, Bill Burr.
Yeah.
Stated the best. Like, how the fuck can anybody see in this helmet?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it might not have actually been them.
Yeah. Anyway.
And shouts out to him, because he was the most hated man at one point in time, and then within one episode became the motherfucking man. I suggest everybody go and watch Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Everybody go and watch that. Phenomenal. It is. Man, it's two different worlds for me to even say which is better, Rogue One or Mandalorian. Mandalorian's a show.
Yeah.
So I can't even do that. But Rogue One, yeah.
Yeah, The Mandalorian is a whole different ball game, but I think it did a good job in bringing everything back into the world of Star Wars, and actually getting people eyes into Star Wars because the way it was portrayed and everything like that. But this movie itself, I feel it did amazing in that sense. I feel like a lot of people didn't like it. There's a lot of people that did not like this movie because
I can't fathom that, but they're just overcritical, analytical fucking people.
Yeah, I honestly thought, I was surprised at how much I loved this movie. Like, I thought this movie was fantastic, and again, like, I'm putting this as my number one movie because it was something that made me feel a lot of things within the movie. it was a lot of things, a lot of characters that were brought in. It kind of gave you a lot of memories of A New Hope and how that whole plan lined up being successful. But it also brought in characteristics of different characters, different it brought in different elements of the universe. Like that was something that I loved about Mandalorian, is the fact that you see outside the basic Jedi universe. You understand?
Yeah.
And that was something I think I loved about this movie, is the fact that you saw
and it
outside
says,
of it.
It says it all in the title. Rogue
Yeah.
One,
Yeah.
Star Wars story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just shows you that we don't need to be tied into trilogies to keep this story going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we have, and check our previous casts, we have a lot of pros and cons for every trilogy.
Yeah.
There's not been a flawless trilogy. I mean, I think the original trilogy outweighs every single one. You know what I mean? But it still had its flaws in its own sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
It was probably more of a victim of its time. And if they ever tried to recreate that, I will never watch Star Wars again.
That's what they want to do.
Well, that, you know what I mean? Like, and also with this movie, one of the things that I've noticed is that every great Star Wars movie, which now is 2, we tallied up 2 great, you know, like it's worth an argument of what's better. Empire Strikes Back with this. It's worth that conversation. You know what I mean? I completely agree with you 100%. This blows that completely out of the frame.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the 2 things that tie this in are, one for me is Darth Vader.
Yeah.
The Darth Vader scene in Rogue One, to me, is the greatest Star Wars scene ever.
So
now this whole movie's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But that scene alone is like the creme de la creme. It's just fucking yes. We got what we always wanted to see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We've
We've
never
only
actually
seen Anakin do it. We've only seen Anakin
Yeah,
do it.
you never seen Darth Vader actually fight.
Or move.
Yeah.
For that matter. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, and half of that scene, he kills people without even touching them.
Yeah.
He ricochets it with his lightsaber, which is red. You know what I mean? The red lightsaber. That's just that fucking. Oh man, I wish we can cut this. Like, I
Yeah.
wish we were doing a visual cast of this right now. Because right now it would be a cut screen. Flip to that scene right now.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Just so you can
that
see
was
what we're talking about.
That was an amazing scene. And honestly, I like when we talk about Mandalorian, I think what Rogue One did for Darth Vader, they did Luke Skywalker for Mandalorian.
100%.
So that was exactly the same. Honestly, that was exactly the same feel I had. This is the first time you actually see Darth Vader actually doing something besides yelling at people and trying to choke them. That was pretty much what he did in the original trilogy. So he never really had like a big like lightsaber scene like he did in the prequels, like Anakin did in the prequels. You never really saw that with Darth Vader. You saw that maybe the Obi-Wan in his fight, but it wasn't like that epic or anything like that. It was just like, I killed you.
I mean, that was the third. That's to me, the Revenge of the Sith scene is the second greatest scene to me.
Yeah.
The making of him and everything like that. But the second thing that ties these 2 together, like I said Darth Vader.
Yeah.
The two things with that is that we didn't get this and this, we got this and that.
Yeah.
The other thing is the similarities between the fact that George Lucas hates it.
Yeah.
George Lucas hates the fact that scene happened in Rogue One.
Yeah.
He hates it. He didn't want Darth Vader to be portrayed like that.
Yeah, that's the way Darth Vader should be portrayed.
And then what happened with Empire Strikes Back, which is up to this moment to us the reigning champion of it all.
Yeah.
And what was George Lucas saying? Oh, that movie sucked. Fuck that movie.
Fuck that movie.
Because he had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
It's just his idea that kept going.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 things to me, and they both involve, you know, Darth Vader, and then George Lucas hating it.
Yeah.
So the formula is if Lucas hates it, it's good.
Yeah. So just hate more things, Lucas.
Yeah.
But then again,
Let
he loved.
Just shut the fuck up and let John Favreau take
Yeah,
it from
but
here
then
now.
again,
You know what I mean?
But then again, he loves Mandalorian.
Well, I would hope so. I haven't read anything of that.
Well, he
I'll
was
take your
part of
word
it.
for it.
He was part of the cat. He was part of the casting thing. He was also part
Well,
of
because
the.
Disney owns Lucasfilm, so I
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
like in
He
order to, well, he's not like hurting for money. The man's like a billionaire. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like,
No, but he was on set for most of the Mandalorian filming and shit.
well, as long as if he okays Mandalorian, then
Yeah,
he's 1 for 2.
yeah, he's 1 for 2.
1 for 3. 1 for 3. But that makes the formula.
Yeah,
If George Lucas doesn't like it, it's good.
yeah. More about this movie. Just like one of my favorite things was Donnie Yen's fight scene in the beginning of the movie. This is the first time you actually get introduced to the character, as he was blind and everything like that, and his full straight out martial arts scene was fucking dope as hell.
But it's a nod to him and what he does.
Exactly. Donnie
You know
Yen
what I mean?
will fuck you up.
I
That was something
I thought
just
it was
wanted to
awesome
shout out.
because like he was just sitting there
Yeah,
and he was like, "You, come here." She's like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, you. I'm talking to you." And then you realize the man's blind. His
Yeah.
eyes are glazed over. He's glazed over. I don't think he was ever born. I don't think he ever had sight.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Normally people like that keep their eyes shut, but I feel like I don't know. I just the Force works in mysterious ways, man. You know, it's just I just wish his clothes would have faded. I just dropped.
yeah,
Because then it would have been like the Force recognized him
yeah.
at that moment.
They picked him, and that's it. That
You know what I mean?
No, I understand.
Now,
that.
what was his voice in the lineup of the voices that Rey heard? Because they have the list
no.
of every Jedi
He was in
every
a
single
Jedi.
movie.
He was in a Jedi.
Listen, man, he could have been honorary, bro.
No, but he was in the Jedi. He was someone that believed in the Force. He didn't consider himself a Jedi. He was like a Buddhist monk. Like they believe in God, but they don't do it in the way that everyone else does in that sense. Like they kind of have their own way of worshiping, and that's kind of how he was in this movie. And so that was more like him believing in the Force. He didn't believe in the Jedi. He believed in the Force.
Yeah, because he's not Jedi.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and they his boy made that clear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But their connection was just it was perfect.
Awesome. It was awesome. Like I love them two together. The final scene really.
I'm getting
like,
chills about their final scene together, man. Because that's brotherhood, man. That's like I love you, man. You know what I mean? It's like he always had his back, and then he didn't even live too much longer after him.
No, he didn't.
He
didn't want
popped
to.
out like this is Edge of Tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah.
Forces, I am one with the Force, and the Force is with me. And then right before he knew he was gonna die, I was like, "About to see you, buddy." Oh my god, it's so fucking good.
I like that scene had me. Like I was like, damn. I love that
Is
scene.
there anything in this movie that you wish they did better? Like, is there anything that you think they dropped at all?
Surprisingly, I liked everything in this. Like the dogs fights were pretty fucking dope.
Which was minimal. There wasn't too much.
It wasn't too
You know
much,
what I mean?
but when it showed it
enough.
fucking was badass. But it also showed you characters that you didn't think that were part of the thing. Like you saw other versions of the squid dude, and and they kind of helped out and things like that. They didn't really believe her in the beginning, but they actually ended up helping her down the end. You saw a lot of things. I think this movie was probably, in general, like the best version of a Star Wars movies, because I feel like they hit a lot of things in the head, and the one thing I would consider this like kind of close to is more of Mandalorian than actual Star Wars.
I think this helped usher in what the possibilities could be.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because we have with the newest Skywalker trilogy, you know what I mean? Like they were juggling that shit. You know what I mean? And I can admit to that now. Don't get me wrong. There is a lot of brilliance in those movies. It just wasn't consistent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This movie was from beginning, like the beginning scenes with them on the farm and it raining.
Yeah.
Her father all wet and her hiding and lying about the mother being dead and them talking about it, and she comes up like, fuck you. and she gets killed, but at the same time shoots
Yeah.
what's his face. It started off badass, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it never stopped.
Yeah.
It never stopped.
Yeah. Like
There was no flat line to it. There was no negative. There's no crappy character in the trilogy, the latest trilogy. We fucking can't stand Finn. I could have lived without Finn. I could have lived without everything about him. I understand what they tried to do, and it's just they didn't orchestrate it properly.
No.
They did this, and I think Star Wars needs to start taking notes on this. Instead of doing trilogies, let's have stories.
I feel like they are gonna go back into the trilogies, but these side stories I think are really appreciated, especially if depending on what it's about. This one is a simple story, is the fact about the Death Star plans. But
There's nothing simple about this story.
But
no,
the simplicity of the story is it's about the Death Star plans. How they got it was they made a whole fucking thing for it, and we appreciate it because it actually really told the story.
Was this like a book beforehand?
No,
like did they? This is just let's come together and tell a story.
Yeah,
because it felt like it was like a graphic novel sort of in a way.
There's a chance. There's a chance that I don't know like 100% about all the books that came out during the times when Star Wars was we're making novels here and there. So I'm not sure if it's based on anything or it had something. So I can't really tell you. But if it did, like honestly, this movie should have been something because, again, it was really well written. It was really well acted. It had everything in it. From the comedy to the action to the actors to just fucking killing it each time here. There was nothing really cringeworthy in this movie. There was nothing cringeworthy, and that's the thing. A lot of the fucking new Disney trilogy, I had a lot of cringeworthy events in those movies. I did not. There's a lot of things I didn't like about those movies. This one
was a juggle. It was juggling, bro.
This one
trying to keep up.
I think this one was a perfect foundation to tell the story. And the fact that there was no sequel, the fact that they were not going to go anywhere, this was a one-time telling of a story. I think that's what worked for this movie.
I felt like they had an agenda.
Yeah.
And they just wanted to put out the best product that they could.
Yeah.
They had the funds to do it, and they didn't hold back.
Yeah.
They ushered in everything that we loved about the old movies.
Yeah.
We had James Earl Jones come back.
Yeah.
And for somebody being in his 90s, I'm pretty sure he's like 94, 95 nowadays. So he's like 92, 93, 91, whatever the hell age he is. To him reprise just the voice of Darth Vader. You're like, yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's 40-something, it's 40-plus years in the making. And we got that.
Yeah.
What is a prequel to A New Hope without General Moff and without Darth Vader?
Yeah.
To see Darth Vader in his capsule alone, that scene was just amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just sitting there. What was he doing in there? Was he sleeping?
Probably.
You know what I mean? Like, is that what he does in his off time? Because is he still hurting from his wounds?
Who disturbed my slumber?
Well, I felt like because he was encased in water, in some type of water, I felt like that was a thing for him to breathe without having to use his mask.
Yeah.
And like his suit. You know what I mean? But we got to see that. We got to see the side of his head. We didn't see his face.
Yeah.
But that scene was just, it literally, where he lived, literally just looked like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Definitely did. The only thing that was missing was the eye at the top.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But that was epic. It was so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things that happened. You were talking about the dog fights before. So this is the lack of a dog fight, but it's just the little subtle, small things that just made it so much for me. So they got the message out.
Yeah.
Right. So what we learn in it is that what's her face's father creates the Death Star, but he creates it with a flaw, hides it in basically this file encased for her nickname of Stardust.
Yeah.
So she finds the Stardust, and our mission is to break the seal,
Yeah.
so the message could go out. So the message goes out. General Tarkin finds out about it. All right, let's go here. Darth Vader coming. Everybody's coming. Now they got the message, and everybody's like, "All right, let's get out of here." So everybody's going into hyperspace, and then all of a sudden, this one ship's about to go to hyperspace as the destroyer comes in from hyperspace and just smacks right into it.
Yeah.
It's just a little subtlety like that, like little small pieces of that is what makes this movie good. There's a lot of great big things. There's a lot of small things.
Yeah.
That it's just, bro, all around. I truly think this movie's flawless.
Yeah. I think this is again. I think I'm gonna say it boldly, and I'll probably get some beef of it, and I don't give a damn. But this is my opinion only. This took my number one spot for Star Wars, 100%.
I will stand firm and state that it is better than Empire Strikes Back. If this movie was made back then, Empire Strikes Back would still be number one.
But it is what it is. So
It is 100%. I can't live in a hypothetical world.
yeah.
I can only live in reality.
Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back is for its time. This is our Empire Strikes Back.
Now, I honestly would say this one trouses Empire Strikes Back. Even though I love Empire Strikes Back, but I feel like this movie had a lot more important things that they just did in this movie that just felt more. Again, like I said, 100%. The characters all felt real. They all felt great. The acting, the cinematography, everything that they did in this movie was fucking fantastic. And I think this. I'm gonna say this hardly, and I really don't care because. One thing I learned, especially when we do so many reviews, we're doing for the Morphin cast, for the Turtles cast, for even It Gets Better After, we're doing the superhero movies and comic book movies of 2 decades. I had to stop the nostalgic factor. Nostalgic factor doesn't help. If it's not a good movie, if it's not a good movie, it's not a good movie. Like even though I felt a certain way when I was a kid, I take that away. So me watching Empire Strikes Back recently, and I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was probably still one of the better ones.
Still visually a beautiful movie.
No, 100%.
You know what I mean?
I still don't like. There's certain characters I just don't like in that movie, so I don't really care about certain characters in that movie. In this movie, they made me care about fucking everybody. They made me feel when everyone went down, and they made me feel how important this mission was. I have never felt a Star Wars movie like that. They made me feel how important that movie was for it.
I was just going to say that I truly, truly appreciate your passion for this, because when you came up to me and discussed the idea of starting a Star Wars podcast, you even stated from the beginning, it's like, I watch the movies, I get it, I'm not the biggest fan. You knowing that I was a big fan, you're like, hey, let's do this. Now, here we are a year later, and you're over here like, I got chills. I feel for this. I almost cried at a scene.
Yeah.
Then 100%, this should, and it is mine as well. But for you, this should be your favorite Star Wars movie.
Yeah, it's one.
It should be.
It's a
I ain't even heard you speak passionately about it in all of our casts.
Yeah.
Of Star Wars.
Yeah, 100%.
So, I 100% agree though. Like, nostalgic purposes does not come into play for like true essence. This is to me a flawless movie. There's nothing wrong with this movie. And if you don't like this movie and you are a Star Wars fan, you are just a hater.
Yeah.
It's simple. It is absolutely simple. You were just upset that there is a Star Wars movie better than your favorite Star Wars movie.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that 100%.
IMDb rates it a 7.9.
That's bullshit.
So that is a really good rating.
Fuck that score.
I
Should be
understand.
at
I
10.
don't understand why the whole world turned to Rotten Tomatoes for judgment.
You know what? Because
You know
what Rotten Tomato does is it kind of rounds off all the reviews in ones, and then puts it together. So it may get like a 7 thing from IMDb, but from like IGN.com they'll give it a 10, or like fucking Entertainment Weekly
Screen
will give
Rant and this and that.
So basically, what Rotten Tomatoes does is round it off all in one score. That's what they do. I don't care about. That's the thing. Also, is that I don't care about reviewers. I don't really care about things like that. I rather watch. Again, we do these casts. We watch everything ourselves, and that's the opinion you get is from what we watch for ourselves. And
I got everything I wanted out of this movie. The only thing that was missing is R2D2.
Yeah,
That's it.
they could have
maybe in the Leia scene at the end, which was probably the jaw dropper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At the end, like holy shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She just passed away.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure around this time.
Yeah.
She passed away. I don't know if it was exactly before or
I think
after.
it was after. It was during The Last Jedi.
But she died before The Last Jedi came out.
2017 she died though.
She died before The Last Jedi came out.
Because she filmed The Last Jedi. It doesn't mean that but she passed away during when the movie released.
Yeah, but The Last Jedi came out after this.
Yeah. She died during The Last Jedi.
Making it.
During the making of Last Jedi. So basically they were still filming while they were doing this. This movie came out.
But for my point of the only thing that was missing was R2D2. Maybe R2 should have been there.
Yeah.
Next to her, because she transferred the message to him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To it. Nobody knows what R2D2 is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, she died. Honestly, she died a month after this released.
Okay.
So yeah.
It made it that much dramatic because it's in the movie theaters.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see it the first week. I saw it like the third week.
Yeah.
Dead center, regal recliners. Oh, it was so good.
Yeah.
So good.
So, what score you give this movie?
Out of what number?
1 of 5. It's a 5-star. Like I honestly.
Yeah, it's a 5.5, bro.
Yeah.
It exceeds the
5-star.
limits.
So
it exceeds it.
So I have our list. We have a ranking. Mine so far is Rogue One is my number one. What is going to be your number one? Empire, Rogue One.
Oh, it's Rogue One.
Rogue One? Ah,
yeah.
She went fit.
I told you I was going to save that for the end.
Yeah.
I told you that specifically. I was going to save it to the end because it's flawless. There was absolutely nothing wrong with this. And in a world where a lot of things get rushed, in a world where a lot of things get remade and I hate I feel like Hollywood just doesn't come up with original ideas anymore.
Yeah.
So they always let's remake this, let's remake that, let's remake this. How about we make our own side story that shits on everything that fucking came out?
And I think that's exactly what they did.
It's powerful. That's power right there, man. Those writers, I don't know if this movie made awards and shit like that. I don't really follow awards because it's sort of it's sort of who they want to win, not who the people want to win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't really follow it. I don't know if it won any awards, but I don't recall what the movie was up against throughout the year. But no matter what, to me, if there was 4 nominees in one movie category for Best Movie of the Year, it should have been one of the 4.
Yeah, it was a hell of a movie. But yeah, 2016, I think it was a packed year too. Like, let's see, 2016 movies.
I feel like this is important, you know what I mean? Because it's what you're going up against. And when did it come out?
So Rogue One came out.
Man.
So Rogue One came out with movies, with kind of tough movies. So the movies list on that year that came out It comes with Moonlight, Marvel, Captain America: Civil War,
Oh God,
Zootopia,
that alone right there, and Zootopia too.
Deadpool,
Kids fucking Deadpool. Wow,
Kobo and the Two Strings. If you've never seen that, that was a fantastic movie.
I have not seen that.
Moana, Doctor Strange,
Ah,
The Jungle Book, Suicide Squad.
And what's his face is in Doctor Strange. Her father,
Yeah,
is
100%.
in Doctor
Yeah, yeah.
Strange.
Suicide
so he
Squad
too.
Yeah, Suicide Squad, Batman vs Superman, Sausage Party. Those are movies that all came out that year.
Oh
So
man, Winter Soldier is
Civil War
wins that.
Yeah, Civil War was the top grossing movie of that year. It was Civil War.
Civil War deserves that though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then it was Civil War. It was Zootopia, Deadpool, Rogue One. Those are the highest grossing movies.
Rightfully so. Out of that entire list, I feel like every single one of those. Sausage Party was fun, but I only watched it once. I can't watch it again, bro.
It was too weird.
But it was hilarious. It was
Yeah.
hilarious to an extent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, 2016 was a packed year of movies. So, it's understandable where it was at, and also like that, it did come out towards the ending of the year because I think it came out December. Yeah, December 16th. That was the release date. So, it came out during the end of the year, but also there was a lot of powerhouses during that year too. So, but this movie was fantastic. Like, I loved everything about this movie. I enjoyed watching it over again. This was like the one movie I was looking forward to the most in this countdown, and I'm very happy that it is. Straight up, it's my number one. Like, there is nothing I could take away from this movie. Like, they did everything correct for me, and they made me feel for characters that I do not know who the fuck they are, but when I met them, I enjoyed them, and I loved every moment about it. And it's throughout the whole cast. Even the villains are fucking great.
If it wasn't for this movie, we wouldn't have any Star Wars movie after. Technically, in the timeline.
Yeah, exactly. It has a lot of memorable scenes. It has a lot of touching things. That Donnie Yen scene with his boy in the ending, that shit fucking almost made me cry. Like, I actually.
Oh man, bro! Every time I think about that, it's like me and you out there. You know what I mean? It's
it hit me. It hit me strong, and I was like,
because they were like brothers, man. They were like brothers, and they killed that.
And
you know?
that scene was fantastic. It was really well done, and it was just like, that really hit my heart. And then the final scene when Endor and the girl passes away, like, they get struck.
Even when she finally went face to face with her father dying.
Yeah.
And his last dying words was, "I have so much I want to say to you."
Yeah.
That was the last thing he said to her. I got so much I want to say to you, and then he just dies.
This movie was fantastic.
That's fucking magical, bro. It's so good.
So,
but on that note, I want to before we continue, I'm gonna pour you one last shot right here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we ventured off, and I'm thankful for you for giving me the opportunity to talk about Star Wars as we are approaching a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This has been a fun year for me.
Yeah.
And we ended off a year with fucking Rogue One, bro.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? I know we have a pretty bad. It's not that bad, but it's not the side story that I wish.
It's not Rogue One.
It's not Rogue One. And it's a bad follow-up.
Yeah. So
next salute to you, my brother.
Yes, salute, brother. And for the next cast, we'll be doing Solo, a Star Wars story.
This is going to be our format for probably the rest of it. There will be no scene by scene anymore. We just wanted to do that just for the trilogies, just so everybody can understand that. Nowadays, if you haven't seen this movie, we didn't give away, every scene to you.
Yeah.
You go out, experience it for yourself. Tell us what you think about it.
Yeah, 100%. So I guess we'll wrap this up. This will be the end of Not a Trekkie podcast. I am Merc the Mike. That's Tenacious T. You can follow us on Red Cycling on Spotify. That's the easiest way to get us. We also have our SoundCloud, Merc with the Mike. We have SoundCloud, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch TV, YouTube, all Mark the Mic. You also can follow our Red Cycle Inc. pages with all the same things. Also, WordPress of Red Cycle Inc. and our Spotify, or all Red Cycle Inc. Follow Tenacious T.
Follow me on Tenacious T RC Inc. On Twitter. You can also follow me on my personal Instagram page of T_DA_Tots TOTS.
He loves them underscores.
Come to Grand Central. Bullshit. Talk to us about your favorite Star Wars show, movie, whatever, etc. Follow also my rock and roll debate page of Debate the Greats. That's debate_THE_greats. Me and the Merc with the Mic here come up with some pretty good stuff. Debates of two different artists. And it's all about bringing people together in community to talk about music.
Yep.
Something that I'm very fond about. Always a shouts out to Game On, retro video game store based out on Long Island, in 2 locations, one in Smithtown, one in Miller Place, satisfying all your retro video game needs. Everything from Atari up to PlayStation 3. They actually have a decent collection of all the Star Wars games, which is one of my personal things that I intend to collect.
Okay.
Is the Star Wars games. Go in there, talk to Tristan, talk to Jay, tell them that you know us, have a good conversation, play some video games.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Always a shouts out to my mentor in the world of Star Wars, my man, Michael Silverman, a.k.a. Michael Wazowski. If it wasn't for him, I would not be the person who I am, loving Star Wars the way I do. I did not grow up loving Star Wars. I met him when I was 21 years old, about 24, 23, 22, whatever the time was. He put me on, sat me down, and I've been a fan ever since. Shouts out to my brother, who has been my ride or die Star Wars watcher. We watch every single Star Wars film at least once a year religiously. So shouts out to them.
I would also like to shout out Mike, which is our producer of the Red Cycling podcast, on all the podcasts. He's the one that edits and does everything. So I want to give a little love for him. He's the one that is behind all our podcasts. So basically, shout outs to him. And we do have an Oz Shell Shot coming out this week of season 3 of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 87 cartoon series. So be in tune for that. This will come out later on this month as well. So basically, we keeping the gun loaded with a bunch of podcasts for you guys to listen to. We will be doing the Shoot the Shit probably next time. That'll be probably the next cast before we go into solo. We'll probably just knock out the Shoot the Shit episode.
Give us a break.
Yes. And
we have a lot. We have a lot of material coming out for you guys.
So please like and subscribe and follow all our podcasts. We have the Oz Shell Shock, we have the Not a Trekkie, we have the Morphin Cast, we have the Gamer Rage podcast, and then we got the 2 weekly, the Wrestling Babble and the It's Got Bad I Swear podcast. I'm very proud of what we're doing. I'm very proud of what the product we have, and we're just gonna get better and better. I swear.
Hey man, I'm happy that you are as passionate about this, and you brought this passion to me.
Yes.
So we are coming on to our 5th year together.
Yes.
My birthday is coming up in 2 weeks, and if I recall, our first podcast was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
The week of my birthday.
Yeah.
So
we might have to do a little special. It might be like a combination of all the podcasts.
I'm totally down with that. Just our experiences and talking.
Yeah. So I think we'll have a special down the road for your birthday. All right. So peace out, laters. Loki says hi and singing her little song, so you might have that in the background. And
I think Loki likes Rogue One as well.
She loved.
I think that's what she's trying to say.
She's saying the Force is with her.
Yes.
Peace out.
On that note, everybody
Peace.
be safe, all right?
Yeah. Peace out later, and
Fuck Zordon.
And fuck Zordon, and I'm one with the Force, and the Force is with me.
And Splinter is he's a bum.
he's okay.